So something like this.
Yeah.
The mic is
Pretty
on.
much.
Good. Yeah.
The light is blinking.
The light is on. I mean the mic is on.
There you go. Okay. When you answer the question, look at that strobe.
I'll just stand there.
Don't have to be super serious. Just like look at her, but like it's a strobe,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she might have questions too.
I will close it.
We can't have this. Yeah.
Come on, this is the perfect time to have somebody vacuuming.
Mr. Mason is a teacher at Sacramento Adventist Academy. He teaches jazz band, audio engineering, and multiple sciences. But Mr. Mason is much more than just a teacher. He is a story, just like everyone else.
And the first question is, what do you think the biggest misconception about your job is?
Well, I don't know what misconceptions they have, but other adults think it's not fun. Like, they think they're scared. Well, they are scared. They're scared of teenagers. So, yeah, that was it. So most of the time when I talk to people, they're like, oh, you're a teacher, high school. Ugh. I'm like, nah, it's actually a lot of fun.
Okay. I'm glad you think that, because that'd be unfortunate if you didn't think that.
Right?
Here's Johnny.
Do you think that students appreciate their teachers enough?
I don't judge levels of appreciation. I think that a lot of teachers do a lot more for students than what they realize.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you take somebody like Miss Nina or Mrs. Mason, because I know them real well, or Mr. Dunlap, who's here hours and hours and hours and hours outside. And I think a lot of times the kids don't really realize how much time outside of class teachers spend. So, me personally, I don't expect that, but I think generally probably kids don't realize how much time goes into it.
So, obviously one of the main things people know about you is you teach Kung Fu and all those things that go with that. I'm not that. How do you think your training in Kung Fu has affected your outlook on life and the way you approach teaching? Or has it all?
I think all those things kind of work together for me. So I've been doing martial arts for a long time. Knowing how to read people is helpful. Knowing how to interact with people. So in martial arts, you deal with confrontation, and that's something that can happen in the classroom sometimes. And so, knowing how to de-escalate, or just, having the physical abilities to be confident if something were to happen. So. On to music, yes.
Yeah. One of the questions that was written, what are some of the locations that you've played in the orchestra that you're particularly proud of?
Particularly proud of. Played for the King and Queen of Jordan in Jordan in a 2,000-year-old Roman amphitheater. Played the Beethoven's Ninth Symphony with a full orchestra and 200-voice choir. That was incredible. Carnegie Hall multiple times was exciting. It's just an honor to have played there. We played one time in the cathedral that Mozart composed and worked in. We played one of his the Mozart Mass. Actually played the whole Mass for a church service in Austria. That was really cool. Just everywhere. I mean, music has taken me all over the world and opened up so many opportunities. It's fun. It's my soul food, and it's something that I kind of resented as a kid, but when it came around, it was something that I wouldn't trade for anything. So
would you rather teach or be in an orchestra? That's a written question someone came up with.
No, that's a loaded question. I think, for a lot of years, I know for a lot of years I swore up and down I'd never be a teacher because I didn't think I had the patience. And especially music, because a lot of that comes relatively easy, and so to teach it, I didn't think I would have the patience. But what I found was that I loved teaching music, and I mean I love teaching other things too. But music's one of those things where you get like immediate feedback. So when you teach someone an instrument and see them get better, and then see them be able to share that with other people, it's something that's immediate and obvious. That it's really a cool thing.
The documentary's not about me. It's about
Yeah.
you. So
You know, I'm thinking back to when I was a student, like the teachers, to be honest, like I didn't think about them very much at all. I didn't. And that's not a bad thing. It's just they were kind of there, and it's easy to just see them as a fixture of the classroom, like this is where they are. And then when you run into them outside in the real world, you're like, what? What are you doing here?
I thought Mrs. Mason in a grocery store and I ran away. Like, down.
Yeah, we ran into Mason at work yesterday. We went out to brunch and I was like, hey, and he was super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's easy just to kind of be like, okay, this is you, or this is you, like you're teaching the class and that's who you are.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
There's more to me than biology.
So you said like you wouldn't have picked teaching when you were little. Then what made you pick teaching now?
You know that story of Jonah? Pretty sure that was me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was me. You know, I always looking back, I always enjoyed explaining things, and just kind of just to other kids or my friends or things like that. My parents are both teachers. That's what kind of fueled my desire not to be a teacher, because I saw my mom up grading papers until 10, 11 o'clock at night every night, and my mom and dad being at school every weekend, all through vacations, and you know, me having to be there helping them, you know, move chairs and set up classrooms. So that was the reason, and I saw how much money they made too, so that was the other reason. But so yeah, I was actually working construction and hadn't quite finished my degree yet, kind of in between traveling around, and had a principal call me, and I don't know how he got my number to this day. I don't know how he got my number, but he called me up and he's like, hey, I heard you were a student missionary, and I was like, yeah, I did that. He's like, hey, we got a teaching job that's like just for a year, and want to know if you're interested. And I was like, well, I don't know who you are, but I'll interview, because I figured it'd be a good experience to interview. And yeah, went interviewed against several other people that were interviewing for the job. I didn't think I was going to get it at all, because I didn't have my degree yet, and you know, and then got it for a year, and I was like, well, you know, I'll give it a try, and it's just for a year, and I just had a blast. Yeah, it was 7 through 10, like everything, in a tiny little school in Oregon, and yeah, I didn't think I was going to like it, and just I just loved it, and here we are.
What was your degree in?
So my degree is in humanities.
That's broad.
Was very, yeah. So basically, after transferring schools and changing majors several times, I have enough credits for at least 2 degrees, but I combined them all into one, and Walla Walla let me kind of design it myself. And so emphasis in art, music, and biology. So go figure. Yeah. So I try to work art in. Yeah. I did a lot of my major was in art and art history and that kind of stuff too.
So you know, you were a teacher before you had kids, correct?
True.
So do you think your kids have affected your way of teaching?
Absolutely. I don't know about my way of teaching. It's affected the amount of time I feel like I'm put into teaching, for sure. Like I know before Gabby and Coraline, like 100% of my focus was here, and I would spend lots and lots of hours at home, you know, and there's a trade-off, you know, because I've seen families that don't pay attention to their kids. I don't want to to be that. So I don't think there's nothing as suffering here at school, but there's not as much energy as I sometimes would like to put into teaching.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing either.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think
I'm not neglecting teaching.
Yeah.
It's just like it's shifted, right? It's shifted a little bit because right now they're, no offense, a little bit more important.
Maybe a lot more. important.
Yeah, but
you know.
a lot of their life revolves around being here, too,
Yeah.
which right now they're okay with, and I hope they don't hate it down the road.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.